Good morning, everyone. We have quite the treat in store for you, both with our guest speaker and author and some special music that we have going on. If you are here for the very first time in person, I just want to welcome you and say we're so glad that you came. If you feel so moved, there are some welcome packets as you came in that say Unity on them. You're free to take one if you wish. And regardless of where you are on your spiritual path, we want to know that Unity Center of Des Moines is a place for positive spirituality. We respect wherever you are on your journey and your own individual sovereignty. My name is Stevie Lang, and let's begin with song. Oh, can you say something else?
I see fields green, red roses too. I see the blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see clouds of skies of blue, clouds of white, bright precious days, dark sleeping nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow are pretty in the sky. The smiles on faces, peaceful passing by. I see friends shaking hands, say, how do you do? There you say, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Yes, give a round of applause. Dennis King, special guest, and our music team that shows up every week, Deb Jennings and Susan Kellogg. We're so blessed to have you here. Okay, announcements. If you can believe it, next Saturday is the Spirit Seekers Fair. I feel like it was just yesterday. It was months away, and now it's here, Saturday. I could still use some help with setting up and tearing down. We've got a couple strong guys that are gonna help me clean up. Very, very grateful for the men. And I got some help with removing doors to make the flow easier. But if you're willing and able, the details are in the newsletter of when those things are happening. If you just pop on by, I am sure that I'll have something for you to do. So thank you in advance for your muscles and your mind and your spirit and your energy. And also as a reminder, there are some flyers in the back there and in the community room. If you want to, or if you could please, pass them out to your friends that they can put it on the refrigerator and remember that it's next Saturday. And the details of who's going to be speaking, we have speakers starting at 12:30 p.m. Free admission, so there's no risk, nothing to lose, and a lot to gain in relationship and connection and community and learning. So we want to formally invite you to the Spirit Seekers Fair next week. And we also want to say a special hello to anyone that is joining us online today. Also, how about we do some celebrations? I'm celebrating the community that we have here and all the new faces that I see, for Sylvia to come back and if she finished her book. That would be your celebration, but that's something I celebrate in you. All right, who else has celebrations? Sharon, yes.
Okay, I have two.
All right,
My son has passed 60 days sober and
fantastic, 60 days sober.
and Linda went out the other day on a little road trip to see the beautiful yellow aspens and the
Fantastic.
fountains and stuff. And she's feeling it so. She's got the surgery coming up in 2 weeks. So keep her in your hearts and prayers. She's like a little girl that's kind of scared about the surgery.
Absolutely, our dear Linda Lair,
But she is doing well.
in the newsletter, we've had her request and there's a link to her Karen Bridge and she does keep an eye on that. And thank you, Sharon, for that update. We love you, Linda. If you happen to be watching, we are praying for you and we love you very much. What other celebrations? Anyone? Okay, it's just me then. No, just kidding. Did anyone see the sunrise this morning?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The sunrise this morning was incredible.
Yes.
All right, we have several special events here in the sanctuary coming up, starting with today at 4 p.m. Steffi Ann and Deb Jennings are going to be doing their Soulful Sunday, which is gentle movement to the sound of the gong. So you get the benefits of guided movement and the sound at the same time. Pricing and details on that are on the website and in the newsletter. Tomorrow is the last of Force More Powerful video showing series that starts at 6:30 p.m. That one is no charge, but we do welcome donations for the building and the space. Heads up, so next Saturday is the Spirit Seekers Fair. Next Sunday, the 19th, a little birdie told me is Michael's birthday. And he's speaking. And it's the Des Moines Marathon. So if your route takes you on Grand, know that there's gonna be some road closures. I will put in the next newsletter the map, so you're informed. And usually right around here, all the runners have gone by a little after 10. But if you come before 10, just kind of be aware that next Sunday, Des Moines Marathon. Yay for me, I put it on the calendar. I remember to remind everybody. Okay. Then also that day, October 19th, is Beyond the Veil, sound meditation with Melody Polonsky and Deb Jennings. It is something super special when the two of them come together. I've experienced it myself. And that pricing and details are also on the in the newsletter and on the website. As a heads up, mark your calendars, couple things. Judy, if you could raise your hand. Yes, she is a certified science of mind instructor or practitioner, and she is starting a prayer class on Sunday, October 26th from 9 to 10 a.m. It is a 6-week commitment. Each week is going to build on the last, teaching about a structure for affirmative prayer. Is that kind of, okay. And there's a sheet in the community room for sign up. I think we already have almost 10 people signed up. So if you are called, please get your name down because Judy wants to know how many to expect and really looking forward to that. And that's going to be the launching point for our more formal prayer ministry. Speaking of prayers, if you have something that you would like added to the prayer list, or you want your name read during the prayer name section of the service on Sunday, there's a box there in the back. And if you just want to write that down and put that in there, let me know kind of if there's something specific you want prayed for, or if you just want your name and good vibes sent your way. We still do that now, but we're going to do it even better after we learn from Judy. Okay. And then Saturday, December 6th is our first art and craft fair. So it's going to be all local artists and performers and holiday stuff. So mark calendars to come by for that. Or if you have an offering, the registration is open. The link will be in the newsletter. And it is, I think I actually put it on the, I'm not sure. But anyway, the registration link is open. It's on my Facebook feed, but I don't think I put it in the newsletter yet. So watch for that on Tuesday. All of our regular events, including midday meditation on Tuesday and Tai Chi on Wednesday, are
Not this week.
not happening. So Tai, okay, thank you. That's why I see the nudge, spirit works. I was like, wait, I feel like Tai Chi is not happening. Tai Chi is not happening this Wednesday. I will take it off the calendar. And are there any other? Yes, thank you, Hillary. I knew you in my brain. Okay, so Hillary, in the back, if you want to look to the back, hold up the card. Dear Paul and Phyllis, we love you so much. They have been such a pillar in this community, but as bodies change with time, they've not been able to come here in person. So Hillary is going to visit them today, and there's a card, if you could sign it in the back. And if you have to leave right away, just kind of stop by there first. So really appreciate it. Love you all. Okay, are there any other announcements that I either didn't know or forgot about? Fantastic. All right, then let's do our statement of faith. It's up on the screen if we can say it all together. There is only one power active in my life and in the universe, the divine source of life and love. Next, the unity affirmation. And as you say this together, if you could really allow yourself to drop into your chair and feel the oneness that connects us all. Unity of Des Moines is a radiating center of the divine light, mighty to attract its good and to radiate good to others. And with this spirit of oneness, I'm going to read the names of people who have asked to have prayers this week, starting with Elena, Allie, Alexander, Brittany, Carla, Seal, Deja, Dennis, Dawn, Deb and family, Denny, DJ, Jennifer, Karen, Kevin, Kim and family, Christina, Laura, Linda, Marilee, Matthew, Paul, Pam, Sarah and family, Celine, Scott, Susan, Victoria, and people with struggles we know nothing about. And as we move into our time of meditation, let your body relax, let the chair support you fully. With your feet on the floor, connect with the earth beneath our body and let it ground you in its energy. And then just take a gentle cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just beginning to slow the breath down, coming into a more centered and relaxed space in this now moment. Expand that breath and breathe in peace, calm, and relaxation. And breathe out anything no longer serving you. Continue to let that breath slow down and elongate. And let the busy mind that's often focused on the outer world come within to a place of peace. And with each breath, allow the awareness of this now moment to expand. What are you feeling right now? Allow yourself to feel whatever feelings come up. And breathe through them. And we'll move into a period of silence, and you can continue to let the breath slow and elongate and feel the feelings that are present in this moment. As you come back from the silence, if you wish to, you could invite in other feelings. Maybe there are some words you just experienced, but maybe you want to invite in some happiness, some simplicity, some joy in the moment, feelings of community, experiences of gratitude, friendship, of love. Just feel each of those feelings as you invite them. Then as you are ready, you can begin to bring your awareness back to this room, taking it in with all of your senses and feeling gratitude and appreciation for this beautiful space that we gather every Sunday as community to love and support one another. And remember that any time as you go throughout your day, you can use these techniques of connecting with your breath, coming to that place of inner peace, to still anything in your outer world. Coming back feeling balanced, aligned, centered, and grounded. Relaxed, refreshed, restored, renewed, and rejuvenated. We are ready to continue our celebration today. The daily word for today is taken from Luke chapter 1, verses 78 and 79, which says, "The dawn from on high will break upon us to give light to those who sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace." Unity co-founder Charles Spillman wrote, "It is the law of spirit that we must be that which we draw to us. If we would have peace and harmony in our environment, we must establish it within ourselves. I want peace in my interaction and circumstance, which means I must ground myself in the assurance that God is peace, and I am that peace in expression. In quiet confidence, I affirm these words after a restful interlude in the silence. Peace guides my thoughts and expresses through my words and my actions. I am kind. I smile. I am loving, positive, and joyful. I am the peace I want to see in the world. The affirmation that goes along with this, I'll say it once and then if we can all say it together, is this. I claim peace in prayer and share it generously. I claim peace in prayer and share it generously. Speaking of generous, let's have another song from our music team. The words are up on screen, and if you feel like joining in, please do. It's a gift. It's a gift to the heart that very heart. When we find ourselves in the place just like we believe only your love and light. Simplicity, not to them, we won't be ashamed. Turn will be our delight, till by turning, we come out right. 'Tis the gift to be loved, and that love to return. 'Tis the gift to be taught, and a richer gift to learn. And when we set our fathers, when we try each day, then we'll all live together and learn to stay. But simplicity stay, without it today, we won't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight, till by turning, we come out right. 'Tis the gift to have friends and a true friend. 'Tis the gift to think of others, not to only think of me. And when we hear what others really think and really feel, we'll all live together with a love that is real. Through simplicity stay, hearts when we won't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight, till by turning, we come out right. And we have a round of applause for the music team. Thank you so much. And now, it is my honor to introduce our speaker, Sylvia Nemmers, author of the book Happy Now, and she is going to talk with us about Happy Now. Please give a round of applause to Sylvia Nemmers.
The stage is, huh? What's that? No stage? No stage. That's very convenient. I like that. Oops, hold on. That's good. Well, here's a- okay, put this on. Thank you. Okay, wait. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Excellent. Well, I must start by saying, do you guys realize what you have done? Because you should know you've done something and take responsibility for it.
Uh-oh.
You have inspired me in such a way. I carry you, I haven't been around too much in the last few months, but I carry you all with me in all of my journeys, in all of my, I don't know, my explorations. And what I mean by that is that when I started coming here, I was well on my path of trying to know myself better and connect with my physical self, with my energetic self. Those are the kind of terms I'm using. But being here and hearing all the different perspectives on how that connection can look has added to my fullness, the fullness of my happiness. And I want to thank you all for that. And so I go to different places to connect with other humans who are trying to connect with God, the divine, the energy, whatever terminology works. And I was at one particular gathering a few weeks ago, and as I'm there, there's a lot of singing and a lot of praising, and it's a way of worship that I don't usually connect. I mean, it's not my general practice. I connected with it. Well, it wasn't my general practice of worship. And I had this vision because, well, I can't see well. I do have clear visions.
Yes.
I had this vision of a maypole. Anybody out there not know what a maypole is?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And this is my interpretation of a maypole because I've really never seen one clearly, but I would imagine it's a pole. I would think there would be something decorative at the top. If I were doing a maypole, that's how I would do it. And then you have these ribbons, these colored ribbons, right? And they connect the top of the pole to the hand of the person doing the maypole. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. I participated in them, so that's drawing my imagery from there. And so each of these ribbons is a different color, and in my vision, there were also different fabrics, like the brocade and the maybe the furry, fluffy fabric. So in my vision, in addition to having bright colors, they have different textures and sparkles. And everybody's holding this ribbon and connecting to the top of the maypole. And to me, that's the connection we have to the divine. And while it's so beautiful to see the different colors sparkling and the different textures, it's not until we do the maypole dance that it really has its beauty. As we weave, we walk past each other in the opposite directions, and our left shoulder touches their right, our right, and we weave out, and our right shoulder touches the left. And the music plays, and our dance goes on, and we interweave with one another. I don't ask anyone to grab my ribbon and say, it's my ribbon or no ribbon at all. It's the fact that we intertwine these ribbons by interacting with each other and learning from each other. I can see the beauty in everybody's connection, even if the way they're connecting doesn't always completely resonate with me. And that vision was so clear that I thought I would share it with you because the ribbons of this community, they sparkle really, 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 really. And doing the dance of the people to connect to the divine with all of you has been wonderful. And thank you. All right, so hold on a second.
Oh, sorry about that noise.
I don't wanna hold the leash that time. I feel like I'm not sure how far away from my mouth to hold this, so hopefully it's clear. So part of the outcome or the manifestation of me having time with all of you is that I've learned a lot from what you have spoken into this microphone. And if you've never spoken into this microphone, then you should do that because you have so much to share.
Yes.
But it's also been the things that I have spoken into this microphone. And sometimes I don't even feel like they come from me. But I started a business because of this group. And on the back of my book cover, well, you can see that. That's my logo, it's me and Ellie, or my previous dog cover. There could be either one of them. And my company is called Beyond Limits. And my website, if you're curious, is beyondlimits.cc. It's a country, but see, beyondlimits.com was like $3,000 a year. And beyondlimits.cc was $6 a year. And I thought CC sounded like closed captioning, so. And so I started this business, and it's a business where I do speaking engagements, kind of like what I do here, but different, like sometimes professional on the topic of, motivating teams, and sometimes on different topics. And I was also selected to be an open book. I don't know if any of you have heard of Cultural. It's a wonderful
Yes.
organization. And they invite people to be books on their library bookshelf. You put a little snippet about yourself, and then libraries and organizations and schools might want a speaker on a certain topic, and they check you out of the bookshelf. And I did several of those, and I was able to speak at Drake University a few times as well. And through those experiences, I met a woman named Karen Downey. An amazing woman. I don't know if any of you know her, but it is Des Moines. Could be that you have met her. And she was like, every time I hear you speak, it's a totally different story. Have you ever thought of writing a book? And I said, yes, I have thought about writing a book, and I've even started it several times. But I like talking a lot more than writing. I wrote my master's thesis and my PhD thesis. I even wrote my ex-husband's master's thesis and his PhD thesis. And so I'm kind of burnt out on writing. She goes, well, why not just try it? Just write the prelude, what you'd like it to be. Send it to me, and we'll rework it together. And I did the prelude, and it came out. Like, I'm telling you, sometimes I write something, I'm like, wow, that's good. Who wrote that? And she would take what I wrote, and she would see, like pull out a thread or two, and I would just keep going. Chapter 1 and chapter 2, and on and on, and all around chapter 16. I'm like, I think I might actually finish this book. And it did. And she did a lovely job of helping me see a thread through this book that I kind of knew, but I didn't realize it. And it was that thread of happily ever after. It was that thread that's it. I finally gotten my happily ever after. And then the next chapter would begin, and happily ever after wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that's how I got the title of this book. So see that. The title is Happy Now? Question mark. So Happy Now,
Yeah.
shattering the myth of happily ever after. And this cover, I don't know if any of you guys know Zach Brown. He is a local artist who does beautiful, beautiful work. And I absolutely knew I could never afford him. But he's such a sweet person. He said, I'll give you the family and the friend discount. I said, well, with both of those, I think I can afford you. But I could never have paid him enough to really bring this vision that I had in my head as he did. The flowers at the bottom are blue lotus and hibiscus. If you know, in my household with Andrew, we drink a lot of hibiscus. And the blue lotus is just one of those flowers that I have found that make it tea. It's very calming. And so he was able to weave all these elements into that book cover. And then the title is actually written in my own hand, which might not seem like a big deal, but I don't even own it. The only writing I've done in the last 20 to 30 years has been signing my name for my credit card. So this was something to write it out. And in the book, I do talk about being put in special education courses for all things being a slow reader. But But the story has a cute, it's not such a bad thing, it's not such a bad thing. It's a good story in there. But I remember trying so hard to form my letters without actually being able to see exactly where the pen hit, you know? And so that's what I do with this too. All of this is me just writing the letters as I memorize them. I mean, I can kind of see it, but not enough to really, you know, write like that. So anyhow, a little bit about that book. So, you know, as I'm writing this book and these stories are coming out of me, and like I said, many of them, I'm like, I know what I want to write about, but I sit in a little bit of intentional solitude and, you know, soak in a really nice hot bath. I'm giving away my writing process. And then I sit down and I just I don't really worry about any spelling. Automatic punctuation is fine, but I really make a mess of it on my paper to begin with, because I just need to lock the ideas onto the paper. And then I can go back and clean it up, and then I would send it to Karen and she'd give it a clean up. And then she asked me these really nice questions. If you ever want to write a book, if you can find a wonderful soul like I did, who will come back and say, tell me more about this, or because you know, it's my life. I'm feeling like I know it, you know, but I'm telling it for people who haven't heard it, of course. So that was so helpful. And so I really do. I talked a little bit about my first memories, which I was born totally blind. So I think we talked a little bit about it here. The first Christmas, that memory that I have without vision, and then getting vision back and thinking that was going to be the happy, and it was good, but it was painful because the first time I saw there was sunlight coming in the windows. And I'm like, who wants to see this hurts? And of course I got used to it and all, but you know, it's just going through those happily ever after moments. You know, I was left at the school for the blind for 3 years, which was pretty traumatic, as you can imagine. And then when my mom told me I was coming back to Des Moines and I was going to live with the family again, I'm like, ah, happily ever after, I've made it. Until my first day of school at St. Augustine's, and it was not what I expected. Of course, in my little set, by that time I'm 7 years old, my 7-year-old brain said, don't tell anybody it's not good because you'll get sent back to school for the blind. So you just pretend that you make it work. And then you start putting on those layers of artificial how I should be to be accepted, how I should be to be loved, how I should be to fit in, and you just layer those things on. I don't know if any of you guys have ever read Miguel Ruiz. Yes. The Four Agreements, and I also highly recommend The Mastery of Love. And he talks about the big motote. And that big motote is it takes years and years and years of having society program you to be what you should be. And sit. And I mean, I'm as guilty of doing it to my kids as what happened to me. I remember my youngest son, my older two kids were homeschooled until they were like 4th or 5th grade, but my youngest one actually started kindergarten in New Mexico, Cruces, New Mexico. And because I homeschooled them, I was a very like free, I wasn't like an unschooler. We had a program, but I really let them explore what they loved. So like when my kids did end up going to school, my oldest son got in trouble because it was in 5th grade and they were talking about how the lungs work. And all of a sudden my son, it's my oldest son, puts up his hand and says, do you know if the air was just slightly more viscous than it is, we wouldn't be able to inhale at all. If it was slightly less viscous, we would pass out. Whatever he was talking about. Something we talked about years ago. And the teacher calls me and says, I just can't have him disrupting the class this way. And I get it. I mean, I understand it's not easy as a teacher to have somebody who's just like, oh, let's go deep. So I had to tell him, you can't raise your hand as much, you can't talk as much. And my youngest son, I got a call from the teacher that first year telling me, Abdullah needs to learn how to sit on his flat bottom. In my head, all I heard was, his bottom is very round. But did I say that? Nope, because the big mutote told me I will talk to him about that. And I do understand, we have to have rules of conduct, and I get that, I'm not like total anarchy here. But how our school system, how our society trains us to stop being us. It teaches us to suck it up. Did that hurt? Push it down, keep moving, be productive. And all of that, I guess the thing is everything in moderation. We have certain things we do to keep things moving, but we have to learn who we are again. And that's the big story of this book. It talks about living in Pakistan, on the border of Afghanistan. I talk about making Hajj in Mecca and wearing hijab. I talk about a lot of different things in this book. In fact, I'll tell you a side note. Why did I write the book? I get asked that sometimes. Well, for 27 years, I wore full hijab, the head covering, like 4 of them, I covered my face altogether. Very loose fitting robes. And so when I'd be in America, at least, I would get stopped at the supermarket and say, and will say, can I ask you a question? And I'm like, sure, because I'm that person. Like, go ahead, ask me. I'm good. And of course, I knew it would be about my hijab. And then, at certain points, I decided to, get a guide dog. And I was still wearing hijab at that time. And so, the funny thing is, they gave me my first guide, the dog's name was Cutter, Cutter. And I'm like, you give the hijab wearing, airport walking woman the dog named Cutter, Oscar, gift. And so there was like a 3 to 4 year overlap where I had both the dog and the hijab, and people would come up to me and say, can I ask you a question? And I'd be like, sure. And in my head, I'm like, dog or hijab? Hijab or dog? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Mostly it was dog, to be honest. It was more dog than hijab at that point. So the thing is that I get asked questions not all the time. And I'm like, oh, so now I still get asked the questions. It's really funny. And I say, I wrote a book. It's on Amazon. Because I feel like all of our stories, so we only get to, in this lifetime at least, we get to live one timeline, or at least one body, we're in one body. And that's why I'm encouraging anyone who has not spoken to this group to come up and talk to the group, because each of our stories enriches everyone else's story. And so I really hope that the stories I'm telling in this book tell you, how many of you have made Hajj in Mecca? Anybody lived in Peshawar, Pakistan? What else? Greece. I've been to Petra, and I've been through Greece. I've been through the empty quarter of Saudi Arabia in a Ford SUV. Something. So I've had these very amazing experiences, but I've also feel like the bigger story is that story of uncovering our own authenticity. Kind of rubbing away that big motote and finding out who we authentically are. Because that authenticity is powerful. Because then we start to, it's much easier to be your authentic. I mean, you guys all know this. Preach to the choir here. It's so much easier to be your authentic self than trying to be the person that you think somebody else wants you to be. There's far too much mental math, in trying to do that. And it's so much easier to just be yourself. But it might be, when you be yourself, you're not everybody's cup of tea anymore. Right? But if you're everybody's cup of tea, are you even your own cup of tea?
No, absolutely not.
So authenticity is such a gift to give to yourself. And, for me, wanting to be authentic was a great start. And it really, a lot of it came so freely to me. And then I was getting to a point where I was like, not sure, what what is me and what's remnants of what was expected of me. And I really had to use some techniques to really try to figure out my authenticity better. And by the way, I haven't figured it out. It's not a switch, it's a journey and it's ongoing. So I'm not talking like the professor who can give you all my day job as a professor. That is not what I'm here today to be. I'm just saying my journey has led me to some certain things that I'm able to do to really look a little bit deeper into my authenticity. And I think of authenticity these days in two different formats. There's the physical authenticity of me. How am I comfortable presenting myself in the world and interacting with people? And like the more physical nature. But then there is also the spiritual authenticity, the connection to the divine. Some people may call it God consciousness, or maybe people call it, connecting to God. For me, and I think it's all the same, just like that maple, which is why I started with the maple, is that whatever you call it, whatever your ribbon looks like, it's the idea that we are more than just the flesh and blood that make up the body, which we are so blessed to have in this world, but it is only a fraction of what we are. Yeah. And the bigger part of us is the spark of the divine that's inside of us. And so how can I understand that part of me better? How can I find the authenticity in that part of me? And I will tell you, there is a bonus prize to finding your spiritual or energetic authenticity. And you know what the bonus is? Each of us has a medicine for the world. Each of us would say, what is the purpose of life? And in my journey, I think my purpose, and I think all of our purposes, if I can be so bold, is that we all have a medicine for this world. When I first heard this concept, I'm like, I have medicine for the world? I'm gonna be like Merlin? Will I be able to poof things in and out of existence? Well, I haven't found that. But I have found that my words and my intentions and my willingness and wanting to be there for others in a way that, can hear. Even though I can't see, if you're sticking your tongue out at me, when you talk to me, it'd be very unusual if I'm not gonna turn myself to you and let you know that you have my full attention. And I know this, that's not really very medicinal, it's not really that, you're not Merlin, and I'm not. But I feel that this is the medicine that I've discovered so far that comes from me. And how do I connect with that? I do it through there's a lot of different ways. In fact, I'm thinking this winter to make a part 2 for this and call it Happy Now the Workbook.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking to do for that is really look at things that have helped me. So, for example, I am an environmental science professor. That's my day job. And particularly environmental soil chemistry. And if I were teaching you environmental soil chemistry, I would never teach you every equation that could possibly happen. The environment is just too complicated. But I would teach you about the classifications and the categories of different chemical reaction, adhesion and hydrolization, and there's many of them. I don't know that you really want chemistry. But the point being, I would never try to teach you everything about the complexities of the environment, but I would teach you concepts. And I would say, take these concepts and go explore the parts of that that interest you. You will learn things that I've never known. That's what I feel a good professor is. And that's what I'm thinking of. We have so many tools to get to know our energetic nature. And for me, it's like learning another language. So we just got back from Costa Rica. I turned 60 last week. And Andrew took me on a beautiful trip to Costa Rica. And I had studied Spanish. I'm fluent in Arabic, but I don't speak Arabic in Costa Rica. So I'm not trying to learn, I do my Duolingo, and I'm trying to learn the Spanish, and I'm getting some words, and I'm kind of understanding the grammar, but I get down there and I'm like, words will not come out of my mouth, like, I gotta, what was that word? I know that word, but it's not coming out of my mouth. But when people were talking to me, I was getting about 30–40%, which is not bad for the amount of studying I've done. But the point was, I know if I were to stay there longer, I would pick up more and more, and I would go from learning the language to fluency. Anybody who's a teacher here knows that the concept of fluency is that, like when you first drive your car, not that I've ever driven a car, but theoretically, you know, you have to check your ears, and you have to think about it, and then at some point it becomes your nature, right? I'm taking that analogy and saying, as we spend time getting to know our energetic, our divine authenticity, it's like learning a language. You should take a class or read a book, and then you have to really spend time immersing yourself in your own energetic world. So look at this. Just today, how many things were listed? We have the beautiful sounds of Deb Jennings and her beautiful colleagues that bring this sound. Maybe sound baths and sound meditation are a way for you to connect to your mystical divine authenticity. I forgot your name over here, but there was someone also doing prayer.
Judy.
Uh, every week, there's people doing different things in this community and other communities. It might be sound, it might be reading certain books that resonate with you. I'll tell you, when I go to my energetic space, it feels to me, and I actually had this repetitive dream long before I even started to pay attention to my energetic authenticity, that I had a dream, and I've had it so many times from different places I've lived. I'd be in the apartment that I was living in at the time, and I'd find a door in a place that there was never a door before, and I'd walk through it. And the first time I had this dream, the door led to a room, a beautifully well decorated, perfect room with flowers and good smells and all that. And over the years, when I would move to a new place, I'd have a dream again, and the door, at some point, the door led to a beautiful, like, mall type thing with hundreds of rooms. And each of them, like, oh wow, there's so much here. And to me, this dream has been the idea of my energetic self. My energetic experience is going into this. For me, it's a mall. For someone else, it might be different, very different. And it's full of rooms. And these rooms are places that I can go and explore. And some of the rooms lead to places I just want to go back to again. I didn't. Other places lead to spaces that don't feel as comfortable for me, and I will step out because guess what? I have the power to come and go as I want. I'm not trapped anywhere. So as you think about getting more in touch with your energetic authenticity, in addition to your physical authenticity, explore everything. You want recommendations on the books? There's a wealth of people right in this room, including myself, who will give you some ideas. But not every book's going to resonate with you, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're not right or the book's not right. It just isn't your area that is going to resonate. Listen, maybe some other time it will, but right now it doesn't. That's cool. Sometimes you go and you meditate. I'm like, what amazing thing is going to come to me while I'm meditating in this beautiful sun bath? And I fall asleep. So that's what I'm saying. Not every experience is going to be a revelation. And then I used to feel, oh, I didn't have a revelation. So what did I do wrong?
Oh,
Absolutely nothing.
yeah,
Nothing at all.
yeah.
That time was meant for quiet mind,
Yep.
quiet relaxation. I guess what I'm trying to get to is there's no right way or wrong way. But the path to the way is quieting down the outside world. Have you noticed in supermarkets, there's always music playing?
Yep.
Like silence is the enemy of, but it doesn't mean silence is actually the gateway to calming your mind. We are so blessed in our home that we have a room that we have been able to dedicate to building our altars, whatever that looks like to you. And I was gifted, my sister had a love seat that my grandfather built over 100 years ago. And she said, do you want that? And I have wanted that for a long time, but I wasn't gonna ask her because, you know, she had it. She said, oh, maybe you want that? I do want that. And so she brought it, when her husband brought that over to us a couple weeks ago, and I put it in that meditation room, and I sat there this morning on that bench that my grandfather built, you know, over 100 years ago, connecting. I didn't know him well because my parents were 45 when I was born, and so I didn't know my grandparents well, but connecting with them energetically through that piece of furniture. So what I'm trying to say is, this is not a recipe. It's just inviting you to find that space, to build that space intentionally. It doesn't have to be a whole room. It can be a simple part of a wall where you say, this is where I turn to quiet myself and to re-engage, reconnect with my energetic self and explore the myriad of rooms that we have in our energetic self and look for our energetic authenticity. And the beauty of that, it doesn't mean we have to negate anybody else's path. Yeah. We just need to find our own and dance that maypole with everyone else. So I also, I guess, the final plug, I hate doing that, but I'm gonna, if you're interested in getting a copy of Happy Now, we have them for sale at the table at the back of the room for $20, or they're available on Amazon for $22, or you can get the e-version for $10. And if anyone wants the book and they can't afford it, just ask me for it, that's fine too. Thank you so much again for everything that you have done for me.
Thank you, Sylvia. Right here, I'm grabbing this for you. Oh, yes. And don't forget, everything you need is right around you.
Everything you need is right around you. Oh, well, Sylvia, so glad to have you. If you would like to share your resources with Unity Center of Des Moines, now is your opportunity to do so. If you're joining us online or you're like me and rarely carry cash, we can also accept donations via Venmo and Zelle. Our Venmo is Unity-Des Moines and has our logo. Our Zelle is the email address info@unitydesmoines.com. All of that can be found on our website, unitydesmoines.com as well. But regardless of how you contribute to the space, your very presence makes it a different experience. Just being here in this seat makes it a different experience. Whatever your contribution is, we'd like to offer the following affirmation. We'll say it all together. I am infinitely abundant. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I thankfully acknowledge the divine source. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. Only the bare necessities, oh, Mother Nature's recipes. The bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be under of my big home. The leaves are buzzing in the tree, makes them just for me. When you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants, you may be trying you. The bare necessities will come to you. They'll come to you. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. Forget about bare necessities of Mother Nature's recipes. The
bare necessities of life. So just try to relax and cool it. Party in my backyard. Cause let me tell you something, Bridges. If you act like that BS, you're working too hard. And don't spend your time looking around for something you want that can't be found. When you find out you can live without it, and go along not thinking about it, I'll tell you something. The bare necessities of life are about to but for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities, get about to worry that it's right. And I mean the bare necessities of Mother Nature's recipes, the bare necessities of life that bring the bare necessities of life.
Yeah, thank you so much. What a wonderful message. Just be yourself. Everyone else is taken. All right, I would like to dedicate this offering to do the work of spirit and truth to the people of the Unity Center of Des Moines. And we are grateful. Thank you, everyone. And, did you already do it? Susan, could Deb have your?
Oh, here.
There you go. Is it on? If you are joining us online, our dear Elena has you covered with some technology that makes it better, our recording's better. So hold on just a second.
I forgot.
That's right.
It's gonna use my- I know, yes.
This is new.
It's new. We're getting it figured out. There we go.
All right, if you want to stand up and repeat back to me, I'll do the reading of peace. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from the higher source,
My wisdom flows from higher source,
and I salute that source in you.
and I salute that source in you.
Let us work together for unity and love.
Let us work together in unity and love.
And now that concludes our service for today. I'd like to invite everyone to make a great big circle around the room, kind of look at your neighbor and judge it so we can all be connected. If you don't want to hold hands, that is okay. Just put your hands over your heart, but we want to sing this song together. And afterwards, in the back, we'll have a gathering of healing hands over by the sound booth. And there's snacks in the community room. And then I could use some help moving this a little bit, having 2 rows of 6 in the back to prepare for Soulful Sunday later this afternoon at 4 p.m. But let's sing our closing song. The light of the divine surrounds us. The love of the divine enfolds us. The power of the divine protects us. The presence of the divine watches over us. Wherever we are, the divine is And all is well. Thank you, everyone. Yay! Have a great week. And thank you so much for your help with cheers. Hope to see you next week.